Natural vegetation and wildlife. So we'll take these in two parts. First, we'll discuss about natural vegetation and then we'll go to wildlife. The basic thing is that whenever you move around, you see different type of vegetation like trees, bushes, grasses, birds, and there are certain kind of bioforms that are available throughout the country. So India is one of the, this is very important, India is one of the 12 mega biodiversity countries of the world. What is biodiversity? Biodiversity or biodiversity means the biology is diverse. That means we have different kinds of plants, we have different kinds of animals, and because of the diversity of the animals, say if in some place you get only deer, that may not be diverse, but you get, along with deer, you get ox, you get serpents, you get lions, and same goes with the plants. That means biodiversity. So biodiversity, in case of that biodiversity, or we take the countries, 12 countries are there in the world and India is one of them. So India occupies 10th place in the world with about 47, how many plant species we have? 47,000 plant species, different type of plants we have. And if you come to Asia, that is our continent, the continent in which we reside, we have 4th place. We are in the 4th place in terms of plant diversity. Different types of plants we have. There are 15,000 flowering plants. This constitute how much? If you take all the plants, flowering plants of the world, we constitute 6% of that total amount. That is 15,000. India has approximately 90,000 species of different animals. See how rich we are. Also, we have different type of fish, whether it be freshwater fish or marine water fish. Plant community, there is certain thing which we need to understand. What is we mean by vegetation? What is we mean by natural vegetation? What is we mean by the artificial vegetation? So since we are talking about vegetation, all the content, whether it may be bush, whether it may be small plants, whether it may be trees, you combine them all and they are called as vegetation. In a place, in a certain region, that is a plant community which has grown naturally without human aid is called natural vegetation. There is a region and the things which are coming like the trees, like the big trees, like the small plants, like the bushes. It can be anything which has the, you can say plant, it comes from the plant community. Then we call it as a natural vegetation. Now you take a place on your backyard, you grow something. This is not natural vegetation. This is artificial vegetation. I hope you got the idea between natural and artificial vegetation. Natural vegetation that has been left undisturbed by humans for a long time. That means the vegetation which is virgin, that has not been touched yet. Virgin means it's not been touched yet. So the natural vegetation, that is this area is growing number of vegetation and that has been left undisturbed. There is no human intervention as of now. No human has interfered for a long time, and this is called virgin vegetation. What is this called? Virgin vegetation. So flora and fauna are these two terms that will come number of times. So flora, this is used to denote the plants. See, flora, FLO, you can just remember by the word flower. So plants of a particular region. So if I take a particular region, say this region, right? This region, say I'm taking Rajasthan region. Now the flora, that means all the plants of this region, is called flora, and all the animals species, it's fauna. From A you can take F-A-U-N-A, from A you can take animal, you can remember like this. So all the animals of this region is the fauna. This different type of flora and fauna of a region, it constitutes to the biodiversity. The biodiversity of this region, or you can take a period also, a time also. So this is what the different types of flora and fauna, that is different type of plants and different type of animals, they constitute biodiversity. What is the important factors? Because if we talk about biodiversity, how these diversity arises in terms of plants and animal, so there are three factors which we have to understand. First is the relief, that is the height. See, this has a different relief and this has a different relief. So this has a quite steepness, it has not that much of steepness. So relief is actually the steepness of a height. Climate is the, we have already learned about this. So climate means the weather condition for more than 30 years. And ecosystem means the system, that is a tantra, paristitiki tantra. The ecosystem means there is an ecology, or there is a communication, there is an interdependence between the flora and fauna and others like human. They form an ecosystem. So these are the three factors of biodiversity. So let us start with the relief. What is this relief? Let me just take you there and then we'll discuss. See, relief has two things. First is the land, second is the soil. What is the land? How is the land? Land may be, say, fertile land. Land may be rough land. Land may be undulated land. Land may be woodlands, means just a grasslands, right? So every different land provides shelter for different kind of wildlife and different kind of bushes or trees or plants. See, if I say you that this is a grassland, so we have ghas or grass. So who are going to eat this? There will be a different type of wildlife, right? And on this, the grass is there. So this grass is a different kind of flora, we can say. But if you go to some other place, say you come to Kerala. Now Kerala has a wide, biodiversity because the plants are quite dense. The trees are quite dense. So you'll get a different kind of animals and different kind of plants also. So the land is very important. When it comes to soil, see, everything grows on soil. So we can have different kind of soil. Say desert, if the soil is of desert type, that is, if there is balu, wraith, what is going to come from them? Cactus is going to come from desert. There will be thorny bushes. If you go to some place where it is quite wet, then marshy, deltoic soils, they support mangroves. So mangroves are those plants which are grown generally in the water and land area, means combined, or you can say junction of that area. This hill slopes, if you have hill slopes, see, if you have a hill slope, then the soil is too much, means the depth of the soil is quite high. So you get a canonical trees. Canonical trees are like this, like your Christmas tree. This is your canonical trees. So it depends on what kind of soil it is that will support, because if you talk about this area, that is Rajasthan Thar desert, so it is just balu, the desert area. So you get cactus and thorny bushes. And the most important thing here is, see, if your tree is in a wetland or a lot of rain is there, so the patta or leaf will be larger size because the water is good, and even if the water goes, it doesn't matter because water is coming. But if you go to this Rajasthan area, there will be thorn, there will be kante, there will be thorn, because you cannot, these plants cannot let their water to go out. That means they don't want their water to evaporate. So they cannot have this kind of, you can say big leaves. So they ought to have these thorns. Cactus is one of them. Now coming to the second one we discuss, see, the biodiversity is these are the factors. First is relief, then we come to the climate. Again, the temperature, the sunlight, the precipitation, this also affects the biodiversity. So if you go to a place where the temperature is quite extreme, what will you get? You will not get, say if you go to the Himalayan range, the top one, it's always snow there. What kind of tree do you expect? No tree, small grasses or nothing. But if you come to these places, these Western Ghats, these places where a lot of rain is there and the temperature is quite good, or you can say side temperate, so you get different kind of tree. So humidity in the air, precipitation, soil, all the character and extent of vegetation are determined by temperature. Temperature, if there is high temperature, you will get cactus. If you have low temperature or moderate temperature, you will get some other kind of plant. When it comes to sunlight, see, we are from 8 degree to 37 degree. There are different latitudes. We are from 68 to 97 degree longitude. So this is a very high, you can say 30 degree to the both the vertical and horizontal spread we have. So the sunlight is different. Some places get a lot of sunlight, this central region, but here sunlight is quite less. So this sunlight, because the plant, they grow because of sunlight, because sunlight is there, chlorophyll is there, they take nutrients from the soil, right? So the sunlight, the differences in the latitude, altitude, season, duration of the day, that is the duration of day in the cold area, it's quite small. So the sunlight is less. But in other places where sunlight is quite high, you'll get different kind of plants and of course animals. Now precipitation, this word is very important. Precipitation is the term, it is not rain. Precipitation is a word which is given to the content of the wind or air. That can be water, that can be snow, that can be tushar, you can say in the night time, in between water and snow, there is one more thing that is called tushar. So that precipitation, all these combined are called as precipitation. So we generally say it to be rain because most of the precipitation, it gives rise to rain only. So where the areas where we have heavy rainfall, when the rainfall is good, what we will get? There will be more plants, so there will be dense vegetation. But if the areas are having less rainfall, then what do you get? Less trees, less plants. So almost you see this area and this area, they are getting lot of rain, over 200 centimeter rain. You will get a lot of trees, different species of trees and animals. But here there is less water, precipitation. Here also, Ladakh region, you will get very less, and this flora and fauna. Here Andaman Nicobar, it's always rains there, so you will get all greenery and different kinds of animals there. So precipitation is also important, and precipitation mainly we define by, in our terms, Indian terms, the coming monsoon and going monsoon, that is the advancing monsoon and the retreating monsoon. Then what is ecosystem? Ecosystem, let me formally define now the ecosystem. Ecosystem, all the plants and animals in an area, they are interdependent. Means if you have a plant, there is a food chain. See, there is a food chain. So if a plant is there or a tree is there, then some herbivore animal is going to eat it. Some carnivore animal is going to eat this herbivore animal. So they are all interdependent. Even when they die, these animals die, they will give manure to the soil, and again the plant can grow. So there is a kind of interrelated or interdependency between these plants and animals, right? And this is along with the environment, with the flora and fauna, so they form a proper system. There is a proper arrangement that God has given us, Mother Earth has given us, and this is known as ecosystem. A very large ecosystem on a land, if it has distinct different type of vegetation and animal life, this is known as biome. What is this called? Biome. So what are the Importance of forests. Why do we need forest? Why are we not thinking about forest? Forest gives us everything. These are renewable sources. That means forest, you don't worry about them. They will grow themselves, they will die themselves, and they will again regrow. So they are renewable resources. And all the quality of environment, the good quality of environment or the bad quality of environment, this is created by forest also. So actually it creates always a good impact or enhancement in the quality of environment. The forest, they are responsible for modifying the local climate, because the leaves on the forest area, they give a lot of evaporation, so it modifies the local climate. And if you have a lot of trees, water is coming, the trees have roots that grab the soil, so water is not going to take it. So it controls the soil erosion also. If we have trees here, say trees here, the water will flow like this. It cannot go this side. So it regulates the stream flow also. And it provides many raw material for the industries. And also for various communities, especially who are related or dependent on the forest, the forest is giving them livelihood. Food to eat, animals to eat. There are different kind of possibilities that these communities, they render it. And also you and me, we go to Shimla, we go to Manali, we go to Northeast, we go to Kashmir for what? For panoramic, for scenic view, for beauty, for you can say recreation. It controls the wind force. Trees, they control the wind force. The temperature and causes rainfall. As I just said, evaporation, because of evaporation and because of the more content of the dense forest or some other kind of forest, the wind force and temperature also depends on the forest. And it provides humus to the soil. When the plant or animal die, the soil is getting humus from what? From these dying element, the dying species. And all the wildlife which we talk about, they don't have houses like us. So they have house. What are their houses? Wildlife, they have houses as forests. So natural vegetation in India has undergone many changes. Why? Because there is a growing demand of growing population to grow different kind of crops. So cultivation of land. We want enhancement, advancement. So we want a lot of industries. So development of industries. Mining also. We just want to live in buildings now, concrete jungles. So we want urbanization. So we need to cut all the trees and pastures. We now want to grow, or those animals we want to render, or we want to use those who can give us meat. Especially they use pastures. That is how we are doing everything against the nature. I hope you got the idea. So I have to give this temperature characteristics of the vegetation zone. So we have, when the temperature is about 24 degree, we have tropical vegetation zone. And the mean temperature in January is around 18 degree and there is no frost. So I was talking about something. There is a thing, precipitation in between water and snow, that is called frost. Okay. Subtropical, 17 to 24 degree, for frost is rare. Temperate zone, 7 degree to 17 degree, and frost sometimes snow. Alpine, snows, always snow, and it is below 7 degree. So what we talked about the sunlight. It is very important. And when we talk about the precipitation, as I just said, this precipitation, if you even talk about rainfall, this rainfall is very important. That makes the vegetation different area. Okay. Then what we are doing is we want these forests. Forests are very important for us because they provide everything. They modify local climate, they control soil erosion, they regulate the stream flow, they support a variety of industries, and also provide livelihood for the communities. And they give us a very scenic and panoramic view. So what we have done a lot of bad things, and just because we are not aware that what is going to happen in near future for our kids, so we are just destroying it, right? So we'll talk about this in just a bit. We talked about ecosystem, I guess. So ecosystem, let me just take you through this ecosystem, what your book provides. So plants, as I said, they all, the animal life, they are all interrelated. There is a proper interdependent and interrelated system along with the physical environment. So this is called the ecosystem. According to the Indian State of Forest Report, which came in 2011, the forest cover in India is just 21.05%. It's alarming. It's alarming. We are a population, we are the second populous country on this earth after China. And by 2050, we are, or say 2030, I guess, we are going to go ahead of China. And to sustain all these, we are just having 21% of the forest cover. We need at least 40% and above forest cover, but we just have 21%. Now, the important thing comes is the type of vegetation. What is this type of vegetation? There can be different type of vegetation depending upon the places, depending upon the latitude, depending upon the water, depending upon the soil, depending upon various characteristics which you just saw, temperature, etc. So the type of vegetations which are identified in our country, India, is first of all tropical evergreen forest. Then we have tropical deciduous forest. Then we have tropical thorn forest and scrubs. Then we have montane forest. And then we have mangrove forest. These are 5 types of forest or 5 types of different vegetation that we find in our country. What is this tropical evergreen forest? First, understand the name. It is tropical, that is, it is found in the tropical region. It is found in the tropical region. Evergreen means it will always be green. That is, if you go to that forest or you have a bird eye view, you are in the helicopter or the airplane, you see down and you will always find this kind of tree cover always there. So it will be evergreen. And forest means the combination or there are so many trees at one place, that is called forest. So these forests, why they have evergreen, why they always are evergreen? So they are restricted to heavy rainfall areas where rainfall is quite high. Let me take you to this and then we'll discuss this. Okay. See, first of all, we need to understand that why it is evergreen, because heavy rainfall areas are there. And these are the places of Western Ghats, island of Lakshadweep, Andaman Nicobar, upper parts of Assam and Tamil Nadu coast. So let me show you where we are talking about. So these tropical evergreen forests are found here, Kerala, because of the southwest monsoon. We get lot of rainfall here. Then in the month of September, October, we get lot of rain here in the Tamil Nadu coast, that is Coromandel region. So we have this kind of forest, evergreen forest. Then here, Assam, this area which gets more than 200 centimeter of forest water or rainfall, this area is having tropical evergreen forest. And of course, the land we have seen, the island, as I just said, that because of the location, because water is there and they are mountains, so always it is raining. That is why the Lakshadweep and Andaman Nicobar Islands, they get lot of heavy rainfalls. So 200 plus centimeter of rainfall, that means very short dry season, but most of the time it is raining. There you get tropical evergreen forest. The tree reach great heights. See, the tree reaches great height up to 60 meter. That is quite high. So you have all sorts of things here. 1.5 meter, these are plants, shrub layer. Then on 5 meter plants are there. Then you have young trees, 20 meters. Then you have this canopy layer. As I said, you are on the helicopter, you see the canopy. You can't see here. Even the sunlight can't come here. Then we have at 40 meters. Then you have emergent layers. These are maximum height 60 meter tree. So the height goes up to 60 meter and above. And these forests, as you see, these forests have everything. They have trees. They have everything. They have trees. They have shrubs. They have creepers, lataim. Right? So there is a multi-layer structure. Since the region is warm and wet, warm also and wet throughout the year. So you have all sorts of variety here, small one, middle one, and the bigger one. The forests appear green all the year because even if because some places, see, I'll show you this. What happens if this is a forest? Some trees, because all these are trees. So if these trees shed their leaf, it doesn't matter because all other will look green. May these shed their leaf, all other look green. So they shed their leaves, but still it will be seen always green all the year. So what are the commercially important trees, that is the trading purpose, or which are important for us to use, human use? And these forests having ebony, mahogany, rosewood, rubber, and cinchona. So ebony, mahogany, rosewood, rubber, and cinchona, these are very important trees as far as their commerciality is considered. What are the animals here in these region, these region? So what are the animals here? What do we get here? So we have elephants, we have monkey, lemur, deer. There are plenty of birds, bats, sloth, scorpion, snails. These are also found here. So let me tell you again about this tropical evergreen forest. So this is the region of tropical evergreen forest. This is a small region at the Tamil Nadu coast. This is the region where we get quite a rainfall, and this region, of course, the northeastern, this region. So we have tropical evergreen forest here. Now coming to the tropical deciduous forest. So what is the place we get tropical? I'll just come to that. So this tropical deciduous forest, if you see all these region, these are tropical deciduous forests, light green. So these are tropical deciduous because most of the Indian region has the tropical deciduous forest. So let me just take you through and I'll just explain it to you. So they are called monsoon forest. Please understand, tropical deciduous forests are also known as monsoon forest, and they are spread over a long region. These region, they are getting rainfall from monsoon. That is why they are monsoon forest. And how much they get? Around 200 to 70 centimeter of rainfall annually. Now the most important thing of this deciduous means shedding the leaf, shedding it. So trees of these forests, they shed their leaf, they leave their leaves for about 6 to 8 weeks when it is quite high dry summer. So 6 to 8 weeks they shed their leaf. And these forests are again divided. Means if you see that this tropical deciduous forest is divided into again two parts, and this is moist and this is dry. So moist deciduous forest and dry deciduous forest. What is this moist deciduous forest? The rainfall, if it is between, so see that this TDF, that is tropical deciduous forest, has rainfall from 200 to 70. So when we have 200 to 100, this partition is known as the moist deciduous forest. Then from 100 to 70, this is known as the dry deciduous forest. So what is this moist deciduous? Moist means they have some humidity or water. What about the tropical deciduous forest? And this is between 200 to 70 centimeter of rain. So the forest where we have this region is getting rain from 70 centimeter to 200 centimeter. So most important thing is they shed their leaf about 6 to 8 months when there is a dry summer. Now we can always divide them because the regions are different. So we can divide it into two parts again. That is, this can be divided into 200 to 100 and then 100 to 70. So 200 to 100, we call them as a different name, and the other one we call it as a different name. So first we call them as deciduous forest or more moist deciduous. Why it is moist? Because the water there, the wind there will have a lot of moisture in them. So these are again the area, because from 200 to 100 it's quite a rain, that is the water content is quite good, and it is present mostly in the eastern part of the country. That is, this is the eastern part of the country. Then we have northern eastern part. These northern eastern states, if you see green ones, not green ones. Then we have because this dark green area is not that one, right? We have already seen that this dark green area is tropical evergreen forest, but we are talking about tropical deciduous forest, and this is basically because of the rain, and which is intermediary, not that much, not very scarce. So we have northern eastern state and the foothills of Himalayas, Jharkhand, West Odisha, Chhattisgarh, and on the eastern slopes of the Western Ghats. So this is Western Ghat, so this is west, this is east. So eastern means this part of the Western Ghat. And teak is the most dominant species of this forest, and there are trees which are commercially very important like bamboo, sal, shisham, sandalwood, khair, kusum, arjun and mulberry. Apart from this, the second part we can divide it into 100 to 70, and this is called as dry deciduous. So rainfall between 100 and 70, it is dry deciduous, and this present in the rainier parts of the Peninsula Plateau, because Peninsula Plateau there are certain parts which are quite rain getting, and the plains of Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. Here the teak, sal, peepal and neem grow. These are the trees, and most of the area have been already cleared for cultivation and for grazing. And common animals in this region we found, or we generally find, is lion, tiger, pig, deer, elephant, and there are huge varieties of birds also, lizards also, snakes and tortoises. So these are the two parts. Now coming to the tropical thorn and forest scrubs. So let me show you a picture first. So there are certain things which need to be observed. First of all, these are the trees, and these are the, you can say, cactus, shrub, etc. And they are quite a distance, means they are not quite dense, because the region is mostly balui, like sand is there. Water is less, so the leaves are very small, very small, or either you can say these leaves are thorns also. And the roots of these whatever is growing here, they are quite long, because these roots are always in search of water, so they move in all the direction. So these are the peculiarities of tropical thorn forest and scrubs. And again, let me show you the area where we are talking about. So these are the tropical thorn forest. This area, as we know that the water is scarce, or the monsoon doesn't fall here that much as it falls in this region. Then we have this area. Why this area? Because we have a Western Ghat, and when monsoon comes, most of the rain occurs here. So this is a Vrishti Chaya Pradesh, or you can say a mountain is there, and this is the other side of the mountain. So this region gets less rain. So we will find here tropical thorn forest. So these are found in the region which are less than, see, 70 centimeter and less rainfall. The natural vegetation consists of what, as I just suggested. These are thorny trees, bushes, acacias, palms, euphorbias and cacti. That is a species of cactus. All these cactus comes under cacti. And as I said, these are quite scattered, and they have long roots. The roots are quite long, and the distance is also quite high. And the roots penetrating deep into the soil, they are quite deep. Why? Because they want water. The soil needs, the trees need moisture or water from the soil. And the stems are quite succulent to conserve water. And leaves are mostly thick, very thick and small. Thick and small. Because there is a scorching heat of sun, and these trees can't afford to lose water because of evaporation. So these thick and small leaves are just because they want to minimize the evaporation. And common animals that we find here are rats, mice, rabbits, fox, wolf, tiger, lion, wild ass, horses and camels. Now montane forests, these are just remember the name mountain. So let us see first that which region we are talking about, then we'll go to the detail of this montane forest. Okay. this is the region we are talking about. So these are the mountain forests, and these mountain forests are in the mountains. So this you can say sparkling green here, here, here. These are the region. More because these hills, or you can say the mountains, are quite high. So we don't get it here. There are mountains here, Aravali, Vindhya, and all these mountains are there, but they are not as high as what we find here. So what are the peculiarities here? See, mountain forests, they have a succession of natural vegetation belts in the same order as we see from tropical to tundra. So what is this succession? Succession means, depending upon the height, I am just going up, moving up the altitude. So this is what succession means. So if you see here, these are the mountain forest. So we get different type of vegetation here. When we go up, means go up the altitude, we get different one, and then different one like this. So when we move up, the vegetation changes. If you see, from 1000 to 2000 meters, in this region, or in this height region, wet temperate type of forest which contains evergreen broad leaf trees like the oaks and chestnut, these are predominant. When we go up, that is 1500 to 3000, what do we get? Now we have increased the height, we have gone up. In this temperate forest, we have coniferous trees like pine, deodar, silver fir, spruce, and kedar, or cedar sometimes we say. We go to higher elevation, we get, because in the mountain also we find the plain region. So these are called grasslands. And if we move further, that is 3600 plus, if you move further up above mean sea level, alpine trees which have silver fir, like the names can be junipers, pines, birches, these are found. And if you go to snow line, because there is a lot of snow, so the trees, most of the trees cannot grow, because always they are snow covered. So there we find shrubs and scrubs, and they merge into the alpine grasslands, which are used extremely useful for the Gujars and Bakrawals type of nomadic tribes. They use it for grazing their cattle. And at the higher altitudes, as I just said, that mosses and lichens, these are part of tundra vegetation. And what are the common animals here? Kashmir stag, Kashmiri mahamrig, spotted deer, wild sheep, jackrabbit, Tibetan antelope, yak, snow leopard, squirrels, shaggy horn, wild ibex, bear and rare red panda, sheep and goats, and they are with thick hair. The sheep and goat, or the animals we find in the plain region, right, not very cold region, they will have less hair. But even if you go up and you see dogs, they have a lot of thick hair. So this is just because to cover them from the extreme, you can say winter conditions. Now mangrove forest. What is this mangrove forest? As the name suggests, this forest is based on mangrove. So what is this mangrove? These are the name of the trees, and that is why when we have number of trees like this, we have mangrove forest. So if you see this tree, the roots of this tree, they are inside water. So we have soil here, which is brought by the tides, and we have the wraith or balu or sand here. So both of the things combined, these trees, they grow here, and if there are lot many trees, then we call them as mangrove forest. So generally we find them in the coastal area, sea coastal area. So this is the region, this is the mangrove forest region, this is the mangrove. These are the prominent, we find mangrove everywhere, whenever we have a coastal region, but we need to have a forest, that is a variety of, you can say, vegetation at a place. So these are the mainly three regions or multiple regions where mangrove forests are there. So these forests are found in the area of coast, as I just suggested, influenced by the tides, where what is going to come? Mud and silt. Mud and silt on this, because for tree, it cannot grow entirely in the water. It needs some sort of mud and silt to grow up. And dense mangroves, these are the common varieties with roots of the plant submerged underwater. If you see, these roots are submerged underwater, and these are the deltas of Ganga, Mahanadi, Krishna, Godavari, Kaveri you find. So here, this is Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri. So they have delta here. So most of the trees are, or these mangrove forests are found here. If you go to a very important part, which is Ganga Brahmaputra Delta, there are Sundari trees. Sundari, that is why it is called as Sundarban. Sundari trees are found which provide durable hard timber. So palm, coconut, kura, agar, they grow in some part of these delta region. And you find Royal Bengal tiger here, this place. Royal Bengal tiger, and this is the famous animal. Also, along with you get turtles, crocodiles, gharials and snakes. These are found in these forests. And these gharials, these are the only you can say species of crocodiles that you find in India. You will not find it any other place. So let me just quickly go through all the vegetation we have. See, these are the different vegetation on different altitude, different temperature, different climate, and different environmental condition. Different trees are being seen, and India is having a very rich variety of different type of vegetation, as we have already discussed. And these are the tropical evergreen. These are the type of vegetation. So tropical evergreen forest. Let me again go through it. So this is the region. These are the region, dark green. These region, this region, this region. So these are the tropical evergreen forests. Like the rainfall is more than 200 centimeter plus. Then we have tropical deciduous forest, mostly you can say the monsoon forest, and they shed their leaf 6 to 8 weeks in dry summer. Then we have montane forest, these forests. These are the montane forest where the height or you can say forest change with the height depending upon whether it is 100 to 200 or about 3600 meter. Then we have mangrove forests, and these mangrove forests are generally because of the tides and the sand and silt, and these trees mostly the roots are inside the water, and these are the main places mostly find in the coastal area. Then tropical thorn forest, these are the area which are scarce in water. They have scarcity of monsoon also. So these are the places where you will find tropical thorn forest. The trees or the thorns or the scrubs will be at a distance. Their roots will be quite inside, and they are just always searching for water or moisture. And the tree leaves are very small and very thick in order to just avoid the evaporation that the sun will cause them. Next thing comes is wildlife. Now wildlife is very important because there is a proper ecosystem, and that ecosystem has flora and fauna. So flora are plants and all those species like trees, etc. And then we have wildlife, that is the animal part. So India has about 2000 species of birds, which constitute 13% of world total, and there are 2546 type of fish, which accounts for nearly 12% of the world stock, 12%. And we also have 5 and 8% of amphibians, reptiles and mammals. So elephants are found in the hot wet forest of Assam, and we have Karnataka and Kerala. Then one-horned rhinoceros, they live in swampy and marshy land of Assam area, and then West Bengal here. Then Ran of Kutch, this area is habitat of wild ass and camels. These are found in Thar desert. Then Indian bison, Nilgai, that is blue bull, and Chausinga, four-horned antelope, gazelle. There are different species of deer also are found in various parts of India. Now India is the only country where you get tigers plus lions together, and the Gir forest is the natural habitat of lion, while the tigers are found in the forest of Madhya Pradesh. And the Sundarbans of West Bengal and Himalaya region, we find them. These we already talked about Royal Bengal tiger. The Himalayas harbor a hardy range of animals. This region, the survival is quite extreme because of the extreme cold. So Ladakh here, this region, freezing high altitudes, these are home to yak. And yak are shaggy horned wild ox, and they may weigh up to 1 ton, that is 100 kgs, 100 kilos. The Tibetan antelope, the bharal, that is blue sheep, wild sheep, and kiang, Tibetan wild ass, the ibex, bear, snow leopard, and very rare sometimes we find red panda also in these certain parts. In the rivers, lakes and coastal areas, we find these regions, and these regions. We find turtle, crocodiles and gharials also. Birds, when we talk about birds, we have peacocks, pheasants, ducks, parakeets, cranes, pigeons, and these are also found in various forests and wetlands of the country. So Wildlife Protection Act was implemented in 1972. Why? Because we are not so much doing for the wildlife protection. So there has to be an act, and this came into being in 1972. And as I said, the Gir forest is the last remaining habitat of Asiatic lion. You can understand, if the lions are not there, the food chain will not complete and there will be unbalanced ecosystem, and you know what will be the outcome of that. And there are certain medicinal plants. So there are around 2000 plants which are described in Ayurveda, and 500 we use regularly. So the World Conservation Union Red List, it has named 352 medicinal plants and 52 which are critically threatened, and 49 are already endangered. So what plants we generally use, just to give you an idea, that Sarpagandha for blood pressure, Jamun for it has very good digestive property and controlling diabetes, Arjun, and this fresh juice of leaves, it can cure the earache, कान की दिक्कतें इसको ठीक करता है. It is also used to regulate the blood pressure. Babool for eye sores like styes, and the gum is used as a tonic. And neem is a good antibiotic and having antibacterial properties. Tulsi plant for cough and cold, and kachanar for asthma, ulcers, and of course the digestive problems. So these are the, I'm just saying that these plants are so important for us, for our existence also. They have all the medicinal values, but still we are eager to cut them. So these are the places of the wildlife. These are the normal wildlife found in India. Major things which public know and we go to see them. These are the elephant and Indian great mongoose. We have all Indian montanic rivers, this deer, then peacock, tortoise, gharials, lion, tiger, leopard, everything we have, every variety we have. So let me just take you to the wildlife sanctuary. This all red ones, these are wildlife sanctuaries, and these stars are bird sanctuaries. And then we have this blue triangle, these are national parks. So these are national parks. So government is doing a lot to, to save the ecosystem, save the flora and fauna. That is why we have wildlife, bird and sanctuary, and also national park. So as I just said, we need to conserve the flora and fauna, and this is not for anyone else. It is for us, for our existence, for our kids who are going to be, for next 50 years. The excessive exploitation or misuse of the plants and animals resources by us, that is human beings, it has disturbed the ecosystem. About 1300 plant species, they are endangered. 20 species are already extinct, and some animals, they are already endangered or at the verge of being extinct. So what are the cause of these threats? Why it is happening? Because of our greediness, hunting by greedy hunters, and for commercial purposes, and pollution. Of course, the pollution due to chemical and industrial waste and the acid deposits. Nobody is caring for that. When you produce something, there are certain consumers. So when you produce pollution, they are consumers, that is human beings. And introduction of some alien species, when something comes which are not that genetically strong, then this can happen. And we are cutting forest, recklessly, ruthlessly cutting forest. Why? Because we need to feed the population. Cultivation has to be done. And we are destroying the actual habitation of the wildlife and also cutting the trees. So government have taken step. It is not that everyone has a blind eye. So they are protecting flora and fauna. 14 biosphere reserves have been set up in the country in order to protect the flora and fauna. And financial and technical assistance means the government is providing financial money also, and technical assistance is also provided to many botanical gardens by the government since 1992, because it has been experienced long back that this is a serious issue. Project Tiger, Project Rhino, Project Great Indian, the Bustard, and many other eco-development projects have been introduced. And 89 national parks, 490 wildlife sanctuaries and zoological gardens, they are being set up to take care of the national heritage, which is everyone's duty. And the Sundarbans in the Western Bengal, Nanda Devi in Uttarakhand, Gulf of Mannar in Tamil Nadu, and the Nilgiris in southern India part, Kerala, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. This have been included in the World Network of Biosphere Reserves. So these are in the world, see, at world level, they are in the network of Biosphere Reserves. So these are the list of 14 bioreserves in India. So we have Sundarbans, Simli-Pal, Gulf of Mannar, and then we have Dihang Dibang, Nilgiris in South India, Dibru Saikova here. Then we have Nanda Devi here. Then we have Agastyamalai, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Then we have Nokrek here. Then we have Kanchenjunga, this Kanchenjunga. And then we have Great Nicobar, this place. Then we have Pachmadi here. Then we have Manas in Assam. This is Manas, you can see also. Then we have, this is Simli-Pal. This is Tashigam. This is Achnakmar, Amarkantak. So all these things are very important for us to understand that there are certain birds which are coming from a distance because they find a good place in India, as the climate also suits them for a certain time, and they lay their egg, they do the reproduction, and they find it better here. And they also are part of the natural ecosystems or biodiversity we have. So what do we know by this chapter? There are certain things which are given in the blocks, that is the virgin vegetation. What is the virgin vegetation? These are purely Indian, known as endemic or indigenous species, native, desi, deshaj. But those who have come from outside India, they are known as exotic plants. And according to the Indian State of Forest Report 2011, the forest cover in India is 21.05% only, and this is really alarming. Wildlife Protection Act, we have already seen, was implemented in 1972 in India, and the Gir forest is the last remaining habitat of the Asiatic lion.